Wonderful devotee. Little bit about her. She is a born devotee from the birth. She has been practicing devotional service. Very gentle, caring, very loving devotee. Also, she is well versed in Bhagavad Gita. She memorized all 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita. Now she is working on memorizing the translations also. She is on the path of completing that. So we requested her to give class because we are encouraging the teenagers to come forward and learn how to present our philosophy. So in that effort, she is going to speak today. So with that, let us welcome Samanvitha, loudly chanting Hare Krishna mantra one time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Another biggest qualification is she is the elder sister of Yashomati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Satyasar Prabhu, for the compliments. We'll start with Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjanam. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Let's start with the Mangalacharya prayers. Om Agnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tamscha Jivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavati Pachatya Deshatarine. Today's verses 15.15 Bhagavad Gita. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishta matta smriti gnanam apohanam cha vedascha sarvairahameva vedyo Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto Matta Smriti Gnanam Apohanam Cha Vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham. Does anybody want to recite? Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto Matta smriti gnanam apohanam cha Vedescha sarvairahameva vedyo Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham. Mataji, do you want to go? Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto Mata Smriti Gnanam Apohanam Cha Vedaischa Sarvairahameva Vidyo Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham. One more person? No, I said one more person. You can go, yeah. Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto Matta Smritir Gnanam Apohanam Cha Vedaischa Sarvairahameva Vidyo Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham.
Devotees, can you move forward? Add forward and come towards your right side.
Hare Krishna. I would like to thank Satyasar Prabhu and Jai Subhadra Mataji for this opportunity. Even though I'm probably not the most qualified person, you guys gave me this service so that I can get purified. Because of this service, I studied one verse, and now I actually understand what reading the scriptures is. You have to study the verse, not just read it. I also want to thank all of my gurus and teachers who have encouraged me and guided me. If you can take away any point today, know that it is from the lectures of Srila Prabhupada and the other devotees. Does anybody want to read the translation of this verse?
I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of Vedas.
So in this verse, Krishna reveals how much he loves us. He says, Sarvasya cha aham, me, Hridi Sannivishto, I stay in everyone's heart. From me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Matta, from me. Smritir, remembrance. Gnanam means knowledge. And apohanam cha, forgetfulness. By studying all the Vedas, you can only know Krishna. And the compiler of the Vedas and the knower of Vedas is Krishna. Krishna says, I stay within the heart of all living entities. Krishna gives us remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. After studying all the Vedas, Krishna only is to be known. If we have read all the Vedas and we still don't know Krishna, our studying of the Vedas is useless. The whole purpose of Vedas is to develop love and devotion for Krishna. Krishna, as Vyasadeva, is the literary incarnation. He has written so much Vedas for us to understand, because Vyasadeva knows that as soon as we come to Kali Yuga, our intelligence is shortened. We don't have that much remembrance power, and the Vedas cannot transform from sound from one person to another. So he wrote them down. But still, he felt a little bit discomfort. He's thinking, even after I wrote this Vedas, something is missing. So then what did he write? He wrote the Vedanta. The Vedanta is Veda Anta. Anta means the end of the Vedas. At the end of the Vedas, he wrote the summary. The Vedanta Sutra basically translates to the conclusion codes. Srila Vyasadeva wrote this so that we could understand the essence of the Vedas. But even after reading the Vedanta Sutra, it might be too big, so he wrote the commentary on that, which is the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Krishna says, I am the compiler of the Vedas. We should read the scriptures written by Krishna in their unadulterated form and try not to change it in any way. These Vedas are like the instruction manual given with the machine. We have been given this body and we have fallen into the material world. The Vedas are like the instruction manual for human life. Without the instruction manual, how will we know what to do with this body? For the people who haven't read the Vedas, how will they know what to use this life for? They waste their time, and we waste our time without reading the Vedas. We will do whatever feels correct, with no worry of what comes after, what the next life is. Therefore, Krishna says, Vedanta Krit, I am the compiler of the Vedas. Because if he had not given the literature, what would we have been done? How would we have used this machine? The Vedas give us the knowledge of our relationship with Krishna. So, Krishna has given a literature. When we live our life guided by the literature, our material propensity gets fulfilled. We can enjoy. But at the same time, in the next life, we'll be able to go back to Krishna. When we said that the result of the Vedas is to know Krishna, we can remember this pastime of Srila Prabhupada. So once there was these two pandits who had read all of the Vedas. They went to Srila Prabhupada and they said, I've read all the Vedas. Then Srila Prabhupada said, great, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What is the end of the Vedas? What is the conclusion? What have you learned? And these pandits, they were so confused. They didn't know. They were saying, maybe it can be this, it's very hard, the Vedas are very vast, we cannot find a conclusion. And then Srila Prabhupada asked this small child, Saraswati. She was only 3 or 4 years old. And he said, Saraswati, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And she said, Krishna. So she knows more than these pandits, because it says in this verse that if we read the Vedas, we should know Krishna. And if we don't know Krishna, our study is useless. It is actually said that Krishna is more eager for us to come back than we are. Even after enlightenment, even after so many classes and understanding, we are still stubborn. We're still dragging our feet. We're still struggling to wake up in the mornings. The conditioned soul is very weak. Between mantras of our chanting, Maya is coming back. Between classes, we are still scrolling, we're still suffering in this material world. That's why in the 10 offenses, the last offense is to not have complete faith on holy name, even after hearing so many instructions on this matter. That's why Krishna takes us back to three mechanisms. First is books, the Vedas. It's said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Maya mukta jiverna hi swata Krishna gnan, jivera kripaya kaila Krishna Veda Puran. The conditioned soul, he is confused, he is bewildered. He is enchanted by Maya, he is Maya mukta. He cannot revive his Krishna consciousness by his own effort. But out of causeless mercy, Krishna has compiled the Vedic literature and its supplements, the Puranas, Krishna Veda Puran. Therefore, Krishna is Vedanta Krit, Vedavit. He compiles the Vedas and he knows all of it. To do that, Krishna compiled all of these scriptures as Vyasadeva. There's another verse that proves that Srimad Bhagavatam is the conclusion of all the Vedas. Sarva Vedanta Saram Hi Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate. Srimad Bhagavatam is declared to be the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. It is said to be the fruit of the tree of the Vedas. So, we should understand that this Bhagavatam that we have in our home is not just a book, it is Krishna himself. We should read it every day, and then we can understand the essence of all Vedas. The Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us what we really need to do with human life. Tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam shuddhyet yasmad brahma saukyam tvanantam. In the Bhagavatam it says, the human life is austerity. If we do this austerity, then we can achieve the divine. But if we didn't have the Srimad Bhagavatam, how would we know what to do? In the Bhagavatam it says, Krishna swadhamo bhagate dharma gnanadibhi saha kalau nashtadrishamesha puranarko dunodita. The first step Krishna provides for us to make our way back to Godhead is Shastra. It said, Krishna swadhamo bhagate. When Krishna left this world and went back to Godhead, to his abode, two things went with him, dharma and gnana. After this, the age of Kali, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, it was dark, nashtadrisham. Nobody knew what to do. Then Srimad Bhagavatam came as Puranarko Dunoditaha. As the shining sun, Bhagavatam came and lit up the path, what we need to do with our life. This is why we need to study the scriptures every day. Most of us have these books at home. We just need to study them. The Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. When we have Krishna's teachings that he sent for us, and when we have them in our home, we should definitely read. We should not take these for granted. That's why Krishna gives us the first mechanism is the Shastra. But that's not enough. We are completely lost. We need help navigating our lives day to day. But Krishna just doesn't bring the Shastra into this world. He loves us so much that he comes as the form of the Super Soul. Therefore, this is the second mechanism. It says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrite se junatishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudani mayaya. The body is like a chariot, and Krishna directs the wanderings of all the jivas and accompanies them life after life after life. Krishna is our eternal companion. It also says, Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwara paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purushav para. Krishna is the Upadrashta and Anumanta. He is the overseer and the permitter. He sees all the actions that we've done. So we shouldn't think nobody saw. So outside we're like one type of person, but inside we do whatever. Krishna is seeing. He is the Upadrashta and the Anumanta. Of course, this is much easier said than done. In this verse, it's explained that the knowledge given by the Paramatma from the core of the heart is explained by the modern scientist as intuition. But who is this intuition coming from? It's coming from Krishna. Therefore, it is stated, Matta, from me, Smritir Gnanam Apohanam Cha. How does a small child know to ask for his mother? How does a bird know that it needs to fly? Who is teaching? This is Krishna. Krishna gives this knowledge. We can see that Krishna gives us knowledge and remembrance. We can understand that. But why is he giving us forgetfulness? If we forget something, is Krishna responsible? Oh, I forgot my homework. Krishna, why did you make me forget? No, that is absent-mindedness. Krishna only makes us forget something if it's required for our maintenance. For example, we have taken millions of lifetimes before this, yet we do not remember anything because it's not required for us. For example, maybe there's a beggar in this life, and last life he was a king. He would not be able to continue this life because he still remembers the pleasures of the king. He will have an identity clash or crisis. So whatever Krishna does for us, it is of mercy. Even the forgetfulness he gives, it's his mercy. Krishna helps us forget things that we do not need to remember. But on a daily level, we need to remember our activities and the scriptures and not be absent-minded. Krishna helps us forget on a higher level. For another example, we have all experienced birth. Birth is one of the most painful experiences, yet we do not remember because we do not need to remember. But some things we should not forget because of our own absent-mindedness. What kind of knowledge does Krishna give us? He doesn't give us material knowledge. Krishna gives us the knowledge that we need to reach him. When we practice bhakti yoga, he gives us the knowledge that we need to go back to him. Dadhami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me, with love, I give the understanding in which they can come back to me. So this is the knowledge that Krishna gives us. On the topic of forgetfulness, there's one story. You might have heard of these people. There's two people, Sherlock Holmes and Watson, a detective and his assistant. They went on a camping trip and they're lying down and they woke up in the middle of the night. Sherlock says, "Watson, what do you see?" He's saying, "I see all the constellations. I see that today is very beautiful." And then Sherlock says, "Okay, but what more do you see?" "I see all the planets and the stars. I see that this graha, this astrological sign is very prominent today." "Okay," and then he asks, "What more do you see?" "I see these clouds. This means the weather will be like this tomorrow." And then he says, Watson says, "What do you see?" And Sherlock says, "I see that somebody took our tent." In this world, we analyze everything to the nth degree, and we miss the most obvious things. This is because of our own absent-mindedness, not Krishna giving us forgetfulness. An example, how can scientists see this whole entire world? They understand all of the phenomenon so well. They know how complex this material world is, how in sync everything is happening. But they miss the most obvious thing. They miss that there's a creator. How can this be without God, without the creator? This is the forgetfulness of the jiva, the absent-mindedness. Krishna is the master of the spiritual world. He is present in every corner of the material world too. He is not negligent of his children. He has no grudge against us. He is not saying, "Okay, you left the spiritual world, now you can suffer. This was your desire. You wanted to come into this material world. Okay, then you suffer. You experience this material world." No, he's our eternal companion. He's staying with us every step of the way. He's present as the super soul for every living being. No one can be as close to us as Krishna. We may think, my brother is very close, my sister, my mom, my dad, my best friend. We can find so many people that are close to us, but can they sit in our heart? Can they be as close to us as Krishna? We take Krishna so for granted, even though he's our eternal companion and he's the closest one to us. So Krishna comes as Paramatma right inside our heart. This is his second mechanism. He knows us in and out, and he is our greatest well-wisher. He says in 5.29, "Suhridam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shantim richati." Krishna is Suhrit. In Sanskrit, there's different definitions of friend, but Suhrit is our greatest friend of all, our eternal companion, and that is Krishna. No one can be as close to us as Krishna, but unfortunately, we are very far away from him. Even though Krishna is right in our heart, we are so far away from him because we don't understand his love. We don't realize his presence. To realize his presence, we need to follow bhakti yoga. If we think about Krishna, worship him, speak about him, chant his name, then we can come closer to Krishna and realize his presence right in our heart. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there's only one qualification that the jiva needs to talk to Paramatma in their heart. Can any of us guess what this qualification is? No. In the Bhagavad Gita, he says, "Chitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahita." For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. We're not able to hear the super soul because the mind is causing so much background noise. When there's so much background noise, how can we hear the main message? How can we hear the super soul? When there's so much noise, we can't hear. But when it's quiet, when it's controlled, when it is tranquil, then we can hear Krishna. Krishna does two things, again, Upadrashta and Anumanta. He is the overseer and the permitter. He gives us the instinct. Krishna gives us the remembrance and the knowledge. Even when someone wants to become an atheist, Krishna gives them knowledge. He loves us so much and he wants to give us free will. He's not forcing anybody, hey, you need to be my devotee. If you don't want to believe in me, okay, then I will give you the knowledge for that also. But what makes us not perceive Krishna, even though he's right within our hearts? What makes us so far from Krishna, although he's so close to us? This, our worldly infatuations. Even though Krishna is so close to us, we are so far from him because of our own desires, our own distractions. Because we are so enamored, we're so maya mukta, we're so attracted by the glamour of this material world, we think we can enjoy away from Krishna, so we go far away from him. If we understand that Krishna is my genuine well-wisher, and I will derive great happiness by being with him, we can stay away from all of these allurements and distractions from this material world. See, the distractions from this material world will give us temporary pleasure, maybe for 30 minutes, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. But Krishna will give us happiness eternally, life after life. And then, if we stay away from these allurements, even if it's hard, we can be close to Krishna and realize his love for us. It says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna bahir mukha doshe maya haite bhaya, Krishna mukha bhakti haite maya mukta haya. By opposing Krishna consciousness, one becomes conditioned and fearful due to the influence of Maya. By executing devotional service faithfully, one is liberated from Maya. Krishna Bahirmukha, we're turned away from Krishna. Even when Krishna is so eager for us to come back, even when he's calling us, we are turned away from him. And now we are fearful, we have bhaya of Maya, due to the influence of Maya. When we turn towards Krishna, when we become Krishnonmukha, and we practice bhakti, then we will be purified from Maya. When we turn away from Krishna, we have darkness. We don't know what to do in our lives. But when we turn towards him, he gives us light and all the knowledge. Tesham evanukampartam aham agnanajam tamaha nashayamyatma bhavasto gnanadipena bhashwata. When we turn towards him, Krishna says, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So, our worldly infatuations keep us very far from Krishna. For instance, if the teacher is giving a class or a lecture, the student is only a few feet away from the teacher. But if the student doesn't focus on the class, he is so far away. So physically, it's only a few feet gap between the teacher and the student. But mentally, the student is close to the thing he is focusing on. So we are close to what we think of. If I'm in math class in Austin, Texas, America, but I'm thinking about California, I'm close to California, even though I'm physically in America. Physically in Texas. This is the power of the mind. In the Bhagavad Gita it says, Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangaste shupajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho bhijayate. Whatever we think of more and more times, dhyayato vishayan pumsa, that is what we will be. Even if we're not performing that action, our mind is fully engrossed in that. So we'll have the same result of performing that action. Krishna is always close to us. He is always thinking about us, and he is our greatest well-wisher. So, to be close to Krishna, we must intensify our Krishna consciousness. No one in this world loves us as much as Krishna loves us. Krishna never disowns us. Even when the living entity commits such abominable sins and takes the lowest of births, Krishna doesn't leave his heart. Krishna doesn't say, as long as you're chanting, I will be in your heart. When you stop chanting, I will come out. That's not how Krishna is. Krishna stays right within the hearts of all living beings, not just humans or devotees. He stays in the hearts of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras, non-devotees, and even lower forms of life. All the bodies we go through, Krishna comes with us. He doesn't say, okay, as long as you're in the human form of life, I'll stay within your heart. But I won't stay in the heart if you're like a cat or dog. I don't want to do that. No, Krishna loves us so much. But we should not think, oh, I'm so amazing, I'm so great, that's why Krishna loves us. That's not true. Because Krishna loves us, we're so special. Krishna's love makes us special. We are all his parts and parcels. Remember, whether people in this world love us or not, whether people in this world give us value or not, Krishna is eternally staying with our heart, in our heart. He eternally loves us, and he eternally is giving us value. So, if sometimes we feel that, oh, we have an inferiority complex, oh, nobody in this world loves me, I have no friends, all of this, Krishna is our greatest friend. Krishna is our greatest well-wisher. And he loves us. And he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead loves us so much, what is the need for everybody else? That doesn't mean we abandon our relationships. We just understand the value of Krishna and his presence in our heart. He stays in our heart, whatever species we may be. So, for us, for Krishna, all of us are so special and so dear. When we practice Bhakti Yoga, we can recognize his love for us, receive his grace, and perceive the presence of God in our lives. Sometimes we hear from devotees that we can hear the voice of the spiritual soul within us, super soul within us. So, if Krishna is right within our heart, why can't we see us? Why can't we access it? We should definitely access it. For this, we need to do 3 things. First, we need desire. We need to have a burning desire to hear Krishna in our heart. With this desire only, we will be able to access him. But desire itself is not sufficient. We should have one more thing. We need to have determination. And this determination translates into action. So we should, if we are so determined, we should chant every day. We should worship Krishna every day, no matter rain or shine. We should be determined, no matter what is happening in our life at that moment. But we need one more thing. We need the devotion. So the determination translates into action. So when we need to hear the Bhagavad Gita, and then we can show our determination. So what does that mean? What does it mean to hear not just with our ears, but with our heart? For example, if somebody is asking for water, all of us in this room heard it. I don't want water, this is just an example. All of us in this room heard it, but the one who goes and gets it actually heard. So, the instruction, when it goes into the ear and it translates into action, that is determination. So, to have determination in Bhakti Yoga, we should practice the instructions he gave in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself gave us so many instructions in Bhagavad Gita, and when we practice them, we are truly determined. So, the sound goes into the ear, it enters the heart, and it transforms into an action. When we hear Bhagavad Gita, the real result of our study is when we follow the instructions given by Krishna. So, we can hear Krishna's inner voice within our hearts. When we hear Krishna's voice, we perceive the Paramatma. So, when we study Gita, we can intellectually understand Krishna's love for us. We can say, oh, Krishna loves us so much. But when we practice Bhakti Yoga, we can feel it. We can incrementally realize His closeness to us. Yes, Krishna is in my heart, and I can realize and hear His voice, we can say. But the main thing is when we read the Bhagavad Gita, the instructions in the Bhagavad Gita need to transform into action. That is when we know that we've heard it with our heart. The degree that we are sincere in our practice of Bhakti Yoga, to that degree, we can realize Krishna's presence. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. So to that degree that we are sincere, to that degree only we can get the result and we can hear Krishna. Krishna is always thinking about welfare, our welfare. He is also giving us this Vedic knowledge to access His instructions. He says, my words are there in the Vedas, so you can hear my words from your heart, but you can also hear through the books. We can think, oh, Krishna isn't here with us, but yes, He is. He's in our house right now. He's there as the Srimad Bhagavatam. And when we read, when we access His instructions, then we are associating with Him. So, what are the mechanisms Krishna gives us? First, He gives us the Vedas, and then He personally resides in our hearts. But that's not enough. Because see, the Vedas, we can interpret however I want. But when we have devotees, when we have gurus, then they will strictly guide us into the correct path. It says, Chitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahita. If I have conquered the mind, then I can hear Krishna. But how will I conquer the mind? Who will guide me? Who will tell me how to do this? That's why in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it says, Shiksha Guru Tajani Krishnera Swarupa Antaryami Bhakta Shrishta Edui Rupa. Krishna expands from the Supersoul and He takes another form, Edui Rup. And what is the form? Antaryami Bhakti Shrishta. He, from inside the heart, gives us instructions through the devotees. The second form of Krishna is within the hearts of the wonderful devotees who guide us back to Krishna and are another form of Him. Therefore, it is said in our life, we need gurus who are going to guide us to understand Krishna in our hearts. And we need to make a relationship with Him. It's not easy. The devotees are not just there to compliment us. They're there to guide us. They will give us corrections. And we should not think, oh, they don't like me, they're being mean to me. No, they're our greatest well-wishers and they're a form of Krishna. And they're giving us instructions and they're guiding us so we can come back to Krishna. They will tell us what we don't want to hear. They will tell us our anarthas and what we lack. But because of that only, we can grow. This is what will help us control our mind. In the Padma Purana, there's a statement praising the service of the Vaishnavas, or the devotees. In Padma Purana, Lord Shiva tells Parvati, my dear Parvati, there are different methods of worship, but out of all of those, such methods, the worship of the Supreme Person is considered to be the highest. But even higher than the worship of the Lord is the worship of the Lord's devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of Lord Sri Krishna. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa Dasanudas. So the servant of Krishna. This is why we should be kind to all devotees, because they are another form of Krishna. When we are kind to them, they will give us instructions, they will guide us, and they will help us go back to Krishna. And they're another form of Krishna. After listening to all this, we can see how much Krishna loves us. He arranges the Vedas for us. He stays right within our hearts, and he sends the devotees to correct and guide us. So let us try to turn towards Krishna, Krishna Mukha, today. Instead of being Bhavir Mukha, let's be close to him. Let's perceive his presence in our heart and be grateful for him. Thank you. Hare Krishna. If I'm not able to answer, you can answer for Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna devotees, if you have any question or comment to share, any reflection, please raise your hand.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Samanvitha, very beautiful class, and especially the comparison with Sherlock Holmes and Watson, that gives very practical way of thinking how to handle, control the mind and focus on what else to see. Very well.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Samanvitha, this is wonderful class. I just wanted to know how old are you and how determination you learn all the sloka and when did you start? I wanted to because we all have a small kids. We wanted some tips and tricks and how you learns all the slokas, if you want to share.
Mataji, I'm 13 years old, and I started learning Bhagavad Gita since I was 5. But all of this I didn't do by myself, and actually more than me, it's the people who taught me, my teachers and gurus. These devotees helped me, and that's the reason I learned the Bhagavad Gita. As per tips and tricks, I'm not really sure.
So the parents really encourage her and create the opportunity for her to learn. So that is also a very important tip. The parents have that power. Because she's a blessed child anyway.
To add one point, Mataji, my neighbor is like 4-year-old, 5-year-old. He memorized Bhagavad Gita and the entire Bhagavad Gita, but he don't know how to read and write. So they like repetition only that they get it, Mataji. First 2-3 chapters maybe they struggle. After that they will know that. It is muscle memory. They can get that and they will remember. It is not a big thing. Anybody can do it, Mataji. So neighbor did it. That's what I want to add. Maybe it works for everyone.
Hare Krishna Samanvitha, wonderful class.
Krishna Mataji.
I liked the point, not only learning, reading Bhagavad Gita, we have to put into actions.
Hare Krishna. As a lot of small children are here, how do you encourage what you learned in Bhagavad Gita? How do you strike the balance between your school and the Bhagavad Gita? How does it help the small children who's sitting around here? How do you encourage them?
For balance, Bhagavad Gita only takes up like half an hour of our day. We just read and it shapes our whole entire day. If we didn't spend these 30 minutes reading and listening, then we would have spent it in some other action. So I think that balance is really easy, but encouragement is just taking it slow and reading just a little bit every day.
Anybody else? One point I can add, Prabhu, so how it helps kids, because if they memorize these slokas, this is for life. So whenever they get tough times, they need to take shelter of something. So definitely that time it helps. Rosy days, everything is rosy, good. But when tough times comes, they know how to handle it. That is one point I can take. And another one, they memorize tables, multiplication tables like anything. They read 2 times, they can memorize the entire table. Because of that, their cognitive memory increases. So that is the memorization of the slokas. And that these slokas came direct lips from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is not written by someone. So what to speak? It is glory for us if we can memorize. Any other? Okay. Thank you, Samanvitha, for wonderful class. Thank you for enlightening us and on this auspicious month of Kartik. With that, we will show our gratitude, and for our well-being, we will chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you.